Charity, wisdom, patience, and humility. Each year, the YMCA of the Kanawha Valley attributes the admonition of St. Francis to an individual in the valley whose life personifies the spirit of giving. The YMCA is proud to pay tribute to this year's Spirit of the Valley recipient, John R. Elliot. The first thing you need to understand about John is this: the desire to create, to plan, to build, and to lead is entwined in his DNA. John hails from a family of visionaries and builders. His father was a naval architect from Scotland who immigrated to the shipyards of Cleveland. John's grandfather was a master carpenter, a cabinet maker in Glasgow. His parents, John and Florence, met in Cleveland, which is where John's older siblings were born. The family moved to Newport News during World War II so that his father could work on naval warships. That's where John was born, on May 3, 1945, just 5 days before VE Day, or Victory in Europe Day, the end of the war. When John was in elementary school, the family returned to Cleveland. One of John's most vivid childhood memories is a school field trip to Severance Hall, regarded by many as one of the world's most beautiful concert halls. Severance Hall is the home of the Cleveland Orchestra. The architectural grandeur of that building, resonating with rich orchestral music, left an indelible impression. In high school, John played a year of football before wisely determining that he was just too skinny. So he turned instead to track and cross country. He had a coach who was a drafting teacher who kept after John to take his courses and to go study architecture in college. So he did, at Kent State. If he wasn't in class, John was in the design studio pursuing his passion. All-nighters were more rule than exception. That changed when his mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He went home to help with his mother and to earn a living. Determined to pursue his dream of being an architect, he continued his studies in night school, which is where he met Fonda, in a sociology course titled fortuitously, Marriage and Family Living. They were married about a year and a half later on June 15, 1968. Fonda, who was a nursing student, put her education on hold to help manage an apartment complex they lived in exchange for a reduction in rent. John worked full-time as a draftsman and continued night classes. Soon, their oldest son, Greg, made 3. And in 1970, 7 years after graduating from high school, John finally had his degree. His graduation, like his birth, coincided with a watershed historical event, the Kent State shootings. Architects serve an apprenticeship before they can get a license. John got credit for 2 of the necessary 3 years for the job he held while he was a student and a husband and a father. He'd been a draftsman to an architect who specialized in healthcare facilities. In 1972, he started his own firm, John Elliot Associates, and he and Fonda welcomed the arrival of their second son, Andrew. Not so welcome was a prime lending rate that year of 22%. That brought any and all construction to a screeching halt. Undaunted, he persevered as a generalist, designing everything from bank buildings to nursing homes across a 6-state region. After a promising assignment for a nursing home in Pennsylvania fell through because of the developer's financing issues, John became determined to learn more about that side of the business and about finance in particular. During the late 70s, he picked up a client in West Virginia and designed about 6 nursing homes owned by others. In the early 80s, John took all the know-how he'd gained from designing buildings for others and what he'd learned about finance and the role of a developer, and with a contractor as a partner, built his first nursing home as an owner in Pocatalico. The second one was in Summers County, and it, like all of them, has a story. Initially a project for someone else, the project came to a halt when 2 weeks before closing, his client backed out to give all her money to televangelist Jim Baker. John took that setback and instead made it the second facility he would develop and own. Although he had a business partner until 1986, his true partner all along, as John will quickly point out to you, is his wife, Fonda. Partners at home, in the business, and in the community.
One of the great things about John is the team that he and Fonda make. I mean, they have both been very, very involved. And while we're honoring John today, I think we need to have equal honor to Fonda, because she really complements the work that he does. She's just as stellar as he is, in my opinion.
Fonda ultimately completed her nursing degree and later earned a second degree along with John in Health Services Administration. Today, their firm AMFM, short for American Medical Facilities Management, owns and operates 15 nursing homes in rural West Virginia. In an industry with high employee turnover, AMFM is the exception. More than a quarter of its 1,600 employees has been with the firm more than 20 years. Today, those employees provide quality care for over 1,000 patients. Nationally, AMFM ranks in the top 10% for customer and workplace satisfaction. Patty's story will help you understand why.
I would describe him as a kind, caring, compassionate individual who many years ago saw something in me that no one else saw. For example, when I did decide to go to college, I went to my high school to get my transcripts. And on the top of my transcript, it said in big bold letters, "This student is the daughter of a coal miner and a homemaker and is not college appropriate." That devastated me. So when Mr. Elliot came to the facility and said to me, "Well, kiddo, how would you like to run the facility for me?" That just done something to me, because he was able to see something in me that nobody else had.
John builds people, not just buildings, and he builds relationships.
John and I have a multi-dimensional relationship, not just a personal relationship. We have a relationship where he helps me in terms of formulating policy, realizing the implications of decisions that are made at the federal level. He's very involved in that and has been over the course of his career. And I think he's recognized really as a national leader in the healthcare industry in terms of growing a business smartly, making sure that you're caring for individuals, it's families you're caring for, obviously, in probably some very difficult times. And he's been very supportive of me in trying to help me be a better senator, be a better member of Congress, and be a better public servant.
It was 1989 when John and Fonda moved to Charleston, and it did not take long for the two of them to become business and philanthropic leaders in the Kanawha Valley. The Elliots purchased a building downtown at the corner of Capitol and Lee in 2001 and completely redid it in order to house their headquarters. Locally, John's business acumen led to an appointment to the board of City National Bank, and nationally to the board of the American Healthcare Association. The list of nonprofit boards on which the Elliots serve and lead is daunting. One of the boards that holds a special place is the West Virginia Symphony, for which John serves as chairman. The German poet Johann Wolfgang von Goethe is quoted as saying, "I call architecture frozen music." Both are art, and both captivate John.
Well, John has taken every aspect of the organization, which is a $3.2 million budget, and looked at it line by line and seen how the organization functions in different ways. Before John came on as the chair, the organization never really quite figured out how much a concert costs by itself. So he's helped to kind of take in different pieces the organization. And really by doing that also, he's brought on his other great love of his life. And of course, I'm talking about spreadsheets. John has spreadsheets for costs. He has spreadsheets for musician services. He really likes spreadsheets with different colors. He gives us large spreadsheets and small spreadsheets. This guy loves his spreadsheets.
Finance, it seems, is now second nature to John. So is the principle of giving back. The Elliots have given generously to a number of organizations in the Valley, including the Clay Center, Sunrise, the University of Charleston, the Buckskin Council, the Boy Scouts of America, and many more. Their gift of time and leadership has had a significant impact, and they've also been generous financially. They formed 2 foundations of their own to help their employees advance their education and to enrich the communities in which they operate. Their largest contribution to date takes them full circle back to Kent State, where they met and where John got his start. In 2013, Kent State announced a $5 million gift from the Elliots to endow 10 scholarships, a professorship, and to build the new Elliott Studios for Design. It is the largest single gift ever made to the college. Family is the foundation of their success. Both sons work for AM/FM, but it's certainly not all been about work. As a couple and as a family, they've taken time to have a little fun, even if they are a bit misguided when it comes to sports teams. The Elliots have 3 grandchildren, Elizabeth, Andrew, and John. Ask why they give, and this is the answer you'll get. Unto those to whom much is given, much is expected.
I am convinced to this day that if John Elliot was not our chair, this West Virginia Symphony would not be playing in 5 years.
When I think of John, I think of his smile, because I think he has such a happy smile. You know, his eyes laugh at the same time that John laughs, and that draws you in.
I look at the names of the people that have been recipients of the Spirit of the Valley, and John is certainly deserving of the honor. Anything that he touches, he really becomes involved in. To volunteer your time, like he and Fonda have done, is significant. He sets an example, sets a bar for others to emulate.
John R. Elliot, the YMCA's 2015 Spirit of the Valley.